welcome back to Michawn's DIY journey, and thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. Today I'll be sharing with you a couple of fall decor items that I'd love for you to get some inspiration from. If you're new here, make sure you go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell right next to it so you don't miss an upload. Alright dolls, let's get started. So for the first craft, I'll be using this Friends Gather Here sign that I picked up from Dollar Tree, along with these wood letters. I bought one pack, and then I had this contact paper left over that I purchased from Amazon a little while ago, probably about a year ago. So I'm actually going to use the back side of this sign. I'm not going to use the front. I actually like the front, so I might display it at a later time, but right now I'm just going to use the back. It's a little bit more smoother surface and I don't have to sand anything down. So what I'm going to do is just place my contact paper over that sign and give it a real good creasing to where the sign ends, and use an X-Acto knife that I got from Walmart actually, and go ahead and cut that down. You could use scissors, or you could, trace it with like a pencil or a pen and just cut it down. But using my X-Acto knife, it just takes away a couple of steps that I feel is unnecessary for me because I have this knife. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do. Once I have all my sides cut out, then I'm just going to go ahead and remove that contact paper from the sheet and then just place it on the back side. This step is pretty easy. I mean, it's not really hard just to cut it down and go ahead and smooth it out to where there's no bubbles or any overlapping or anything like that. I tried my best to cover it up, but I think I kind of cut it a little too short on some sides, but it worked out just fine. And then the next thing I'm going to do is any parts that are kind of overlapping on the edges, then I'm just going to take my knife and cut that down as well. And then to give that a smoother finish and make sure it stays down, I'm going to go ahead and put some Mod Podge on the top as well as underneath. For my letters, I'm spelling out Love Fall Days, but I had to cut down one of the T's to make an L because there was only a couple of L's. So I did that. It made it look a little short, but I'll fix it to make it look good. Then I'm going to paint these letters in my Waverly chalk paint in Truffle. I absolutely love this color for fall. I think it goes really well with a bunch of colors that I'm trying to mix together, even brighter colors and not all of the reds and oranges, but like blues and things of that nature. I just really love it. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it a couple of coats of that paint. And I'm going to let those sit aside to dry. And I am going to actually sand down the sides and corners of my sign. I wanted it to have more of a weathered look to it. So when I sanded it down, it actually took up some of the papers. I actually really liked the effect that it looked because it made it look like it was real wood behind it instead of just cardboard. And that's what it looks like on the corners and on the edges when I sanded it down. I really love how it came out. Next, I'm actually going to sand down the letters just a tad bit. I did most of them and just lightly did it because these letters are actually really flimsy. It's not like strong wood or anything. That's the difference of what it looks like with it non-sanded and then it's sanded just a little bit. And I really love the effect that it gave it. Then I'm just going to place my letters on my sign the way that I like and then just hot glue those down. Once my letters are all hot glued down the way that I'd like, I'm actually taking all this leftover floral that I had from last year's fall decor haul that I did and just going to randomly place them down the way that I'd like. I really love these leaves, so I'm just kind of going to place them randomly. There's really no rhyme or reason how I did everything. I just kind of laid it out on the sign and placed it the way that I liked. And because that L on the love isn't a true actual, it's not a true L, I hit it a little bit with my leaves to make it look like a better L. And then I just took some of those berries and hot glued them to the top and the bottom, and then this little like twig thing, I don't know what to call it, it's a twig stick, and just put that on the side as well. I really love how it turned out too. For my next craft, I'm going to take this foam wreath from the Dollar Tree as well as some burlap. And if you've seen any of my other videos that I've done before with a foam wreath, I always typically try to cover it with burlap because I feel like that's a great base for any wreath that you want to make. And all I do is put a good amount of hot glue on the beginning of it to get it to to stay down, and then I just wrap it around and I pull it because on the inside or the outside it actually gets a little loose, so you want to make sure that you pull it a little bit while you're wrapping it around so it stays tight on there. And then about every 5 or 6 wraps that I do, I put hot glue on there. I use one whole burlap spool, and then I had to go back and open another pack and just use maybe like not even maybe a quarter of it, not that much, but it's 2 different shades. I didn't realize that when I bought them, so I'm gonna have to use the darker shade as my base to put these florals on. So I have several different florals that I want to use, as well as some leftover pumpkins and apples that I had from last year. I'm really not sure how I want to go about doing this right now, so I'm kind of just winging it and just decided to go ahead and place some of those leaves on the bottom and then actually use the apples instead of those pumpkins because I wanted to paint the pumpkins. I used about 4 of those leaf stems, glued them down to the bottom, and then glued the eggs on the top. I glued the apples on the top of where the leaves are. So, and then I also used those cream colored flowers. They're hydrangeas, I believe, and I really like them because some of them look like real hydrangeas and the other ones are kind of like a burlap hydrangea look to it, and it's really cute. And I just cut those off the stems and glued those in place as well. And it's just really random how I did it, but I love the intentional effect that it gave when I put those apples on the top of the inside of that wreath. And once you've decided where you want to put all of the flowers and anything else, you have 2 really pretty, gorgeous, and easy fall DIY decor items you can easily hang up or just place on the table. Well, that's all I have for you dolls today. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Thanks so much, dolls. I'll see you on the next one. Bye!